can release your video order here. Interesting.
Okay, now we're live.
Yep, I see it.
Okay.
Would you like to make me co-host?
Pardon? Oh,
Would you
yes,
like-
I'll do that. I will do that right now. Yeah.
So let's you probably want to see me rather than my t-shirt. Here we go.
Okay, I got it. I see. I've got to go over there and my sound is coming through on the YouTube live, so I got to go to that and let me see. Let me see if I can mute myself here on YouTube. All right, I'm gonna just pause it here, or maybe pause it, I guess. Will that do it? If I just do that for mine, and then others can come in and I think we'll see.
Well, I can see you on YouTube.
All right. And am I coming through and waving my hand and stuff on YouTube?
Well, there's a bit of a lag. I'm not sure how
I know
long.
it's delayed, so I'll wait it for a while.
Yeah.
Tell me if you see that.
All right, hang on. So it's updating itself now.
Oh, okay.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Jeff.
We hear you, Jeff. We can't see you very well. You're kind of in the dark.
Yeah, I got a different computer screen. I got one of these tablets.
That's okay. We know you're there.
You can turn your camera off if you want, and there'll just be a blank screen, or your icon will show up, or you could turn on some more lights, but it's you look kind of sinister sitting there in the dark.
It's okay, Jeff. Whatever you want to do.
Jane, your YouTube page isn't showing up. I mean, the image is frozen.
Well, I stopped it on mine. Do I have to make it go again? Because I was hearing it come through on my computer. I didn't want that.
Let's see. Let's try this.
It's
Oh, there you go.
Jeff.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
All right. Now it's updated. Now your YouTube page isn't showing up. I mean, the image is frozen. All right. That's me from a minute ago.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I did stop it on mine because I was hearing it come through on mine and I didn't want to do that, you know.
I hear you had a very lovely birthday celebration on Friday.
Oh, it was nice, and Adrian played music for us, and that was nice. That was a nice surprise.
Glad you enjoyed it. She missed being able to sing and play, so she was very excited about being well enough to come and sing you some songs.
Good. That was great. And we walked around and looked at the property, and it was good just to be out and be with folks again and safely, you know, all masked up and spread apart.
Pinched my finger. So what's the plan for the morning?
All right. So this morning, actually, we're having another congregation join us. The UU Outer Banks congregation will be our guest this morning. Some of them are coming in.
Cool.
So, but as far as the recording goes, the message will start after some silence. And I'm not having a reading, so it's the song is "We Are Gentle Angry People" that John has put together with the choir. So the song, and then a moment of silence, and then the message starts.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jane.
All right.
Hey, Jim. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Nice
morning.
to see you.
Yes. Jim was there with us Friday night as we strolled around the property and listened to Adrian play and got some cupcakes.
Oh, she brought home a couple. They were delicious.
Oh, good, good.
Did you make those cupcakes, Jim?
No, I eat cupcakes, but I don't make them.
Okay.
Those came from 4 and 20 bakers,
Oh,
Pennsylvania, Georgia. They worked, and I got them through the Market to Go, the States for Market to Go, you know.
yeah.
4 and 20 bakers.
Yeah, they used to come to the farmers market on Saturday mornings too.
Yeah, well, they were there with their food truck today, Thursday. But also, of course, they had, you could order through Market to Go and get the cupcakes. So I'd ordered them. And then when I talked to the guy later, he said, oh, since you gave me some business, stop by and I'll give you two free pieces of pizza. So I stopped by his food truck and it was delicious pizza.
Yeah, they're good. They are good. All right, Jane, I'm gonna booger off for about 10 minutes and I'll see you before the service starts.
That sounds fine. Appreciate it, Michael. Today is National Coming Out Day. And for some reason, I had it in my head that it was tomorrow, the 12th, but it's the 11th. It's today. So I'm doing the LGBTQ allies sermon, and that was going to do it because of National Day being on the 12th. But then I was on Facebook and people were saying, oh, today is National Coming Out Day. And so I Googled it and it is the 11th. I just had it in my head, it was the 12th.
I haven't kept track of these events. I know they're out there, but
Yeah. Well, you know, every day, every week and every day is some kind of day. This is also Clergy Appreciation Month. I don't think the yees ever know that though, but so I appreciate myself.
that's a healthy attitude to keep.
Yeah. So, you know, I've seen people on Facebook. There's it's national, like, or something, a son's, like, instead of, you know, I've always, you know, there's Father's Day, Mother's Day, but there's now a son's day and a daughter's day. They were having pictures of their sons or their daughters, and I thought, what is this, you know? Of course, I'm sure there's probably certain kinds of animals and certain kinds, there's a day for everything, probably, if you want to celebrate. And I'm sure the greeting card people take full advantage of any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, this sort of came up, I think, shortly after World War I, when it was proposed that we celebrate Mother's Day on a national level.
Yeah.
In the debate in Congress, they said, well, no one will vote against mothers, but keep in mind that once you start, these proposals will never end.
Yeah.
So there'll be a whole parade of,
Yes.
and so then later there was Father's Day, and anyway, the rest is
Grandparents' Day, you know, yeah. But
So
the only
there we
ones
are.
the only ones of those that I think about are Mother's Day and Father's Day. That's enough. I can't keep up with all the others.
Yeah. When I was overseas for so long, quite a number of my younger acquaintances were hard leftists, as well as outright communists. I mean, they carried the torch. No judgments, okay? They were,
Yeah.
but they were educated and they were far more international than the average person anyway, which we got along, And I often was asked, and so why is it the United States doesn't celebrate Labor Day? I mean, they were like offended because, you know, there's this concept that the United States is, you know, a leader in the world and so on. And I said, well, excuse me, but we were the first nation in the world to set aside a day for the working people. But it's not May 1st.
But it's not May 1st, and that's
It's
the
your
international. Yeah.
history, I told them. May 1st was the day to celebrate international communism.
I
Ah,
didn't know
and I
that.
said,
Okay.
only to make it popular did they eventually switch it to international labor. So, and we don't do that. So,
That's a bit of history I didn't know.
anyway,
Hey, Tanya. Hey, Karen. Welcome. Hey, Roy. How are you?
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see your bright faces this morning. Everybody has bright faces except Jeff. He's in the dark, but we know he's there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out, trying to figure out the lighting. I'm still trying to learn the new computer.
That's all right. Do you have lights in the house?
Yeah, I guess what it is I guess because it's so dim in our house. Probably
Okay.
there's no window, but it's covered up.
No
Let me try
natural
going
light.
in the living
Okay.
room, see if I can get a bright.
I can see you a little better now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's. Let me see when I sit down.
Now, yeah. Then it gets, yeah. But you don't have to stand up the whole time, so don't worry about it.
Okay, this is a little bit better than in the
Yeah, I
guest
think it is
room.
a little bit better. Good morning, Sherry.
Yeah, and I'm wearing yellow.
Oh, you're wearing yellow. See, yeah, I was trying to. This is my, I guess, green is close. I was saying to folks if we would wear rainbow colors, we could be a rainbow. But then I looked at my closet and said, and I
Jane.
didn't have it much of anything.
Jane, I wanted you to meet my fiance. He's standing right beside me, real quick.
Okay.
This is the minister Jane over at Unitarian Universalist Church. I've been telling you about this. Jane, this is Michael.
Michael.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you
I'm
today.
good.
Good. Good.
You
Well, it's
too.
great to meet you.
Yeah, I talk about him, so why not meet him?
That's right. Now we know who he is. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah. 22. Hey, John.
Hello. Hi, Roy and Karen.
Hey, Leon.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Okay, is it Buchan?
Morning.
Good morning. How is everybody this morning?
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Right.
very well.
Good,
Good.
good.
You're not.
Good to see you, DeLeon. You ought to show your computer screen around to show how far you've gotten in organizing your new home.
Okay, I'll do that. No. Not. Well, I have gotten pretty
Not, okay.
far with.
Well, Greg and I were saying, we were amazed how quickly y'all got in and organized.
Yeah. Well, there's still some organizing going on, but I'm spending most of my time right now over on the island getting the house ready. And I did quite a bit of work yesterday and going to do some more today. And so hopefully by next week, it will be on the market.
That's a lot of work.
Vincent,
Hello?
Adrian, about 25 after. No. Didn't realize my microphone was unmuted.
Yeah,
Hi,
think
I
I
Mike.
was
wasn't
muted.
singing.
Hi, Mike.
I'm from the UUCOB on the Outer Banks.
Oh,
I thought I'd join
welcome. We
early in
hope
case
more
there was
of
a
your folks
rush.
Come in with us, yeah.
Good to have you, Berg.
glad you're here.
Yes.
Who is that from the U?
Hi, Terry.
Howdy.
Terry, we hear that you know the physicist Nobel Prize winner.
Yes, I do. He's a good friend. We went to graduate school together. We were in the same lab. We had desks and benches in the same room. I was overlapped him for 2 years. I was senior to him. And yeah, he's a nice guy. We had a good time. In addition to doing some science together, we did a lot of things outside the lab as well. And I've kept up with him. Most recently visiting him in New York in 2014, where he is at Rockefeller. But yeah, he's made a big difference on this hepatitis C virus, which is a pandemic of its own, not the same as COVID.
Oh, so that was that the bio or biochem medical, which Nobel Prize was it?
It was medicine and physiology.
Yeah, not physics.
Right. And he actually has done 2 things with hepatitis C. He got the Nobel Prize for helping to discover it, but he's done a lot of work in drug development with hepatitis C, and you can cure hepatitis C with drugs now. Yeah, it was exciting to see him get the award.
I was excited just to know somebody that knew somebody, yeah. I know somebody that knows Nobel Prize winner.
Well, at least Donald Trump didn't get the Peace Prize.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, here we were. We were having such a nice time, and then you had to go bring that guy up. Thanks.
Well, welcome, Jennifer. Good to see you.
We're gonna be having some folks from the Outer Banks congregation visiting with us today.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so glad to have them.
Vincent, where is your church at on the Outer Banks?
It's in Kitty Hawk, which is by the northernmost bridge.
Yes, I used to live there.
Okay, good.
All right, in about 3 more minutes, we'll share the screen and have our prelude.
Where's what? So outside on the big green trunk behind the bikes, it's sitting on top of the.
Michael will mute us all once we do that, but, or you can mute yourself, either one.
Those having breakfast.
Okay.
That was a good time to mute everybody.
We'll wait 2 more minutes and then we'll start right on time. I'm going to go ahead and be sharing my screen so that I can make sure I push the right buttons. Good morning and welcome to our joint worship services. I am Reverend Jane Page and I'm delighted to have you all here, especially our guests from the Outer Banks. We're going to begin this morning as others join us by having some music. And our music is, today is National Coming Out Day. And our music is I'm Coming Out, and we're going to watch some trolls. You remember those troll dolls we used to have? Move along with the music by Diana Ross. I'm Coming Out.
I'm coming out. I'm coming. I'm coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live, and I just wanna give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time is coming for me to break out of my shell. I have to shout that I am coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I'm coming out. Coming. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I'm coming. I'm coming out. Coming. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I've got to show the world all I wanna be and all my abilities. There's so much more to me. Somehow I have to make them just understand. I got it well in hand. Know how I plan. I'm spreading love. There is no need to fear. And I just feel so good every time I hear I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I'm coming out. Coming. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I'm coming. I'm coming out. Coming. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. Coming out.
Well, that's fun. Tanya, our president for UU Fellowship of Statesboro, come welcome us to our congregation.
Good morning. I am Tanya Carden, President of the Statesboro Fellowship, and I'm delighted this morning to welcome you all to come, whoever you are, holding various beliefs, whatever your skin color, whatever your age or gender identity, whatever your abilities, whomever you love. You are welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro. You are welcome in this, our virtual religious home. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. And let us join with other voices in sharing the UUFS congregational affirmation.
Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
And someone needs to be muted as we go forward to the welcoming the folks to the Unitarian Universalists of Coastal Georgia. And Erin Lee is going to do that for us.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Coastal Georgia. I'm Erin Lee, a member of our board. This congregation is affiliated with the Unitarian Universalist Association. In Unitarian Universalism, you can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, your expansive heart. By creating a meaningful community that draws from many wisdom traditions and more, we are embodying a vision beyond belief, a vision of peace, love, and understanding. So, come, whoever you are, holding various beliefs, whatever your skin color, whatever your age or gender identity, whatever your political affiliation, whatever your abilities, whomever you love, you are welcome in this, our religious home. Our worship leader for today is Reverend Jane Page.
Thank you, and join with the voices as we share our UUCG congregational covenant.
Love is the doctrine of the church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to serve human need. This is our great covenant.
And we are delighted this morning to have some folks visiting with us from another congregation. We're welcoming to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Outer Banks. They're at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and their president, Jennifer Gilbreth. She is here, and she is going to share a greeting from that congregation. Unmute yourself, Jennifer, and share with us.
Good morning, Jane and everybody. Thank you so much for hosting us. We're really happy to be virtually with you. I'm Jennifer Gilbreth, president of the UU Congregation of the Outer Banks. That's in cloudy, rainy Kitty Hawk. And we look forward to hosting you all later in this fall in November, I believe. So looking forward to having some time with you all today, and fall tidings and much gratitude for hosting.
Thank you, Jennifer. And yes, we will be visiting with you all on the 5th Sunday in November. So we look forward to coming and visiting with your congregation as well. Let us share together now with our children's voices, their children's affirmation, which is an affirmation for all of us as well, too.
We are Unitarian Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands.
Thank you. And we have our chalice lighting. If you have a chalice there in your house you want to light, now is the time you can do that. I'll have the reading that we've chosen for being far apart from one another. Across the distance, the light from within me shines, sending love to all. Across the distance, your light is fuel that warms me and helps to keep my own light burning. Together, we keep the flame of community burning bright. And we're going to sing Rise Up, O Flame. We'll sing that 2 times. Let's do that together.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
We like to greet one another, whether we're together in person or whether we are together virtually. And the way that we do this here in our joint worship services is to go into the chat box, click on the chat box, and you can share a greeting with everyone. Please maybe it'd be a good idea too to let us know where you're coming from as you share a greeting with us, and we'll listen to this nice little greeting song while we do that.
It's time to say hello. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello to you, hello to you, hello to you, hello to me. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello to you, hello to you, hello to you, hello to me. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello to you, hello to you, hello to you, hello to me. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello to you, hello to you, hello to you, hello to me. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello to you, hello to you, hello to you, hello to me. Hello, nice to see you, everyone. Hello!
Wow, we have got folks visiting with us from lots of communities in Southeast Georgia and from a couple of, 2 or more communities in North Carolina and even from Delaware. Wherever you're coming to us from, we are so glad to have you here with us in our worship service this morning. I'm going to share with you now, today is a National Coming Out Day, and we're doing a series of services about becoming better allies. And today, the focus today is on the LGBTQ community, and I'm especially focusing on today on the trans community. And I have a story to share with you about that. This is a graphic format. I wrote this several years ago, and it's based on a true story. So here we go. There's Jonathan. Hi, my name is Jonathan. I live in a little town in Southeast Georgia. I'm decorating my room with pretty flowers. What is all this girly stuff doing here? And the cat says, I kind of like it. Jonathan says, family members weren't always understanding of my decorating efforts. But Grandma's here saying, I love what you've done with your room. He says, except Grandma, who loved everything I did and always supported me. There's some girls saying, let's go to my house and do our nails. Jonathan says, I always preferred hanging out with Gladys and Janet more than playing ball with the guys. Actually, I felt more like I was supposed to be a girl. What was wrong with me? There is in school. Ha, you're such a sissy, Jonathan, messing up his hair. I'm gonna mess up your pretty girl hair, Jonathan. He says, school was a disastrous place for me to be. The bullying was nonstop. Even though I tried to dress to fit in, I dropped out. I became very depressed. Oh God, why is this happening to me? I would kill myself, but I'm afraid of where I might go and it would kill my grandma. So I'm out of here on the bus. I bought a ticket on a Greyhound bus to California. I was going to get as far away from Southeast Georgia as I could. So there he goes on the bus and he's, oh Lord, I'm not sure about this. What if Grandma gets sick and I'm not there? When I got there, some folks who cared were kind enough to buy me a ticket back. And he says, oh Lord, if I can just get back, I won't leave my grandma again. There he is with Grandma. She said, Jonathan, you just need to go back to high school and get your diploma. You were so smart. Grandma encouraged me so much. I made up my mind that I would follow her advice. She says, I can do this and make Grandma proud. I went to college and received both an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree. While attending school, I started a job as a school bus driver. I love being with the kids and the benefits were good, but I hope one day to join the Army or Air Force Reserve too. Here he is at church. He says, does God love someone like me? You see on the bulletin board, the sign say, man up for God and sinners repent. Although school and work were pretty good, I still felt something was wrong with me, and my church doctrine reinforced that feeling. I don't know which direction my life will take, but I'm hoping for something good. And then this story is continued as Jabrielle's story. There in the counseling office, the counselor says, you've shown such insight in these counseling sessions, Jonathan. Have you ever considered going to graduate school to become a counselor yourself? Funny thing, I just enrolled in a social work program that includes counseling. Reading about it. Transgender is the state of one's gender identity or gender expression, not matching one's assignment at birth. After years of denial, I began to learn more about myself in graduate school and to become more comfortable in my own skin. I had to read and find out more. Look at all the kinds of things that's reading. This is it, reading all those things about transgender history. At last, I know who I am and where I am going. The counselor says, it's great to see you again, Jonathan. I want to talk to you about that name. Thus began my journey of transition from Jonathan to Jabrielle, a journey that took place mainly in my counselor's office and on the internet with other members of the trans community. Jabrielle existed only in the closet. I could wear androgynous clothes at my job as a school bus driver and in my classes in graduate school and at home where I spent much of my time caring for my grandmother. And I was glad of that possibility. Well, here she is in church though. They're singing Amazing Grace that saved, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. And she says, I feel like a wretch in these clothes. Church was a different story. In most traditional Christian churches, there were strict dress codes. And for guys, that meant a suit and tie, or at least a tie. Some clothing that I did not mind wearing. I received my master's and credentials for being a counselor with some job possibilities in the future. I have a fabulous opportunity, but I'm not sure what to do. So meanwhile, the Gay and Lesbian Task Force asked me to be in a documentary they were doing about transgender women of color. The counselor says, I guess this is where you make the big decision, Jabrielle. I agreed to the project. The film crew will be flying in soon. I had to act fast, which meant coming out to lots of family and other folks, including the parents of the children who rode on the bus, since my work would be highlighted as well. I decided to write a letter to all of them and mail it on the same day. So there she is on the bus. Here I go, ready or not. She has mailed that letter to the parents. She's not sure what's going to happen. After the letters came out, I was afraid of what would happen on my bus route. To my surprise, many of the parents met the bus to share their support and let me know they had my back if I had problems with keeping my job. So she says, my turn to fly. After the documentary, I had a period of publicity, both locally and nationally. That was positive, but the calls were not returned from those social work job opportunities. I also had to postpone my dream of entering the reserve. Uncle Sam may want gays and lesbians now, she said at that time, but he's not willing, but his finger's not pointing at me yet. My day will come for other opportunities. Meanwhile, I'm sharing about transgender issues here in Southeast Georgia. There's a sign for 100th birthday in 2014 for her grandmother. Plus, I had a large party to plan for recently. Nearly 200 guests celebrated with Grandma, and they were greeted by Ms. Jabrielle. There she is with her grandma, and she's singing, I once was lost, but now am found. When I sing Amazing Grace now to Grandma, I can sing it with authenticity. For I was lost as Jonathan, but now I'm found as Jabrielle. And here's a picture of me with Jabrielle. And we were giving her a certificate there in Statesboro, a certificate of courage, and greeting her, and she shared with us. I've recently gotten in touch with her again, and I'll share a little more later about that, but we are so happy that she has been so inspirational to us as we try to be good allies. For our music this morning, John Calishaw decided to have the choir do We Are a Gentle, Angry People. And of course, this was a song that was done by Holly Near. She wrote this song after Harvey Milk was assassinated and people were in the streets protesting, and she thought we needed a good song for that, and wrote the song We Are Gentle, Angry People. It is in our hymnal 170. Most of you are familiar with it, so that you're going to hear the choir do it, that John's put our voices together, but I encourage you to sing along. The words are up on this video. You can sing with us, and just keep yourself muted because we can't sing together. So here is our online choir singing We Are a Gentle, Angry People.
We are gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
Thank you, choir. Thank you, John, for that arrangement and providing that opportunity for us to sing together, even in these times when we can't be together. Now let's take a moment of silence as we prepare ourselves for the message today. This is the third in my series of being a good ally. And it seems that as these come up, there are opportunities that come up for us to do just that. Right after I shared about being an ally in regards to race and ethnicity, some of us spoke at the Brunswick City Council sharing our desire that the Confederate statue be removed. We are still waiting for the outcome of that, but we had a good turnout, and I felt like we did a good job as allies and folks that were at that meeting. And then just this past week, I was called to share with the Statesboro City Council to encourage the passage of the proposed non-discrimination ordinance after one congregation in town began urging their members to show up and request that provisions related to LGBTQ discrimination be removed from the ordinance. I shared with you when I read the story that I would be especially focusing on, here's a picture of me at the city council meeting, by the way. We were masked and safe. I shared with you when I talked about the story this morning about Jabrielle that I was going to be focusing especially on trans people. So you may be asking, why trans? Don't they all matter? Well, yes, this is sort of like saying we should say all lives matter instead of Black Lives Matter, though. And I heard a good biblical reference that you can use when this happens. Here it is. This is the parable of the shepherd and the sheep. You may remember this from the Bible. So Jesus was telling his disciples about this story, and to tell them about the 99 sheep. And one of the sheep had disappeared from the others. So the shepherd went to look for it, to rescue it. And the disciples said, well, what about the 99? Don't they matter? And Jesus said something like, well, of course they matter, but the one is especially endangered now. So the shepherd is focusing on it. So that's something you can share with folks when they wonder why you say Black Lives Matter or trans lives matter. Sometimes we need to have a special focus on a particular group. And that is true today. There are key challenges for transgender people in our world. Despite the dramatic progress of the transgender movement in the last decades, resulting in greater public awareness and significant legal victories, trans people continue to face blatant discrimination, high levels of violence, and poor health outcomes. Trans people of color often face markedly worse health and economic outcomes as they navigate multiple systems of oppression. So I'm just highlighting some of the key issues with these symbols for you. One of the issues is health. Transgender people face enormous health disparities, including staggering rates of HIV infection, lack of primary care, including individualized medically necessary transition-related health care, and high rates of attempted suicide. And then there's economics. Transgender people bear the economic consequences of discrimination, including high rates of poverty and unemployment, discrimination in education, and homelessness. Trans people are more than twice as likely to live in extreme poverty, that's earning less than $1,000 a year, with Latinx transgender people facing 3.5 times and Black transgender people facing 3 times the poverty rate of the general US population. So there's a lot of the interrelationships of these identities and what happens. And then another thing that's very concerning is safety. Transgender people and Black transgender women especially experience frightening levels of physical violence. This is particularly true among transgender people participating in sex work and other informal or criminalized economics. Brutal murders of transgender women occur with such alarming regularity, often with little response from law enforcement, that the American Medical Association declared violence against transgender people an epidemic in 2019. And then civil rights. Recognition and respect for the civil rights of trans people is critically important because their legal needs span many aspects of life. These needs include identity documents that accurately reflect who they are, protections from employment discrimination, and immigration rights, to name only a few. Fortunately, we have lots of resources to help us to be good allies. The organization GLAD provides tips for allies of transgender persons. I'm going to share some of these with you today. When you become an ally of transgender people, your actions will help change the culture, making society a better, safer place for transgender people and for all people, trans or not, who do not conform to conventional gender expectations. So here are some of their tips for those of us who want to help. First, you can't tell if someone is transgender just by looking. Transgender people don't look any certain way or come from any one background. Many transgender people do not appear visibly trans, meaning they are not perceived to be transgender by others. It is not possible to look around a room and see if there are any transgender people. It would be like looking around the room to see if there are any gay people. You should assume that there may be transgender people and non-binary people at any gathering. By the way, all of the people on this slide are transgender. Second, don't make assumptions about a transgender person's sexual orientation. Now, I hope you remember back, if you don't, you can go back and read it, the sermon I did back in June, where I shared all the definitions and we had a lot of education about all of these terms and what all about gender and sexuality. But gender identity is different than sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is about who we're attracted to. Gender identity is about our own personal sense of being a man or a woman or outside the gender binary. Transgender people can be gay or lesbian or bisexual or straight. You shouldn't make assumptions about sexual orientation for anyone, cis or trans. If this confuses you, please go back and read that sermon or other information on gender and sexuality. But it is different. Don't make assumptions. Along with that, if you don't know what pronouns to use, the GLAD folks say, first of all, just listen. Just listen if you're unsure, because probably someone who knows the person will probably use the correct pronoun. So if you can just listen for a while, you may figure it out. If you must ask which pronoun the person uses, start with your own. You can say, hi, I'm Alex, and I use the pronouns he and him. You know, what about you? Then that person's pronoun, use that person's pronoun, and encourage others to do so. So there are a lot of possibilities for pronouns, folks. If you accidentally use the wrong pronoun, apologize quickly and sincerely, then move on. The bigger deal you make of the situation, the more uncomfortable it is for everyone. There are a whole lot of possibilities, as you see here. I'm not going to go through all these because it seems like they is winning the day. And yes, singular they is now okay. So you can use they, them, and their. Many, many years ago, we made singular you okay and quit using the very formal thou and thine for singular other person. We use you for a single or a plural. We can do the same thing with they. So if you're one of those grammar people that comes after me for this, just stop. They is a singular, they is now okay. Okay. Now, don't ask a transgender person what their real name is. Please don't do that. For some transgender people, being associated with their birth name is a tremendous source of anxiety, or it is simply a part of their life they wish to leave behind. Respect the name a transgender person is currently using, or a non-binary person. If you happen to know the name someone was given at birth but no longer used, don't share it without the person's explicit permission. Like Gabrielle gave me permission to use Jonathan in that story that I wrote. Similarly, don't share photos of someone from them before their transition unless you have their permission. Some gender non-conforming folks are choosing gender neutral names. And folks, I messed up the other day with one of our folks because I did not realize that they had modified their name. I apologize, and I will try to remember from now on. Be patient with a person who is questioning or exploring their gender identity. A person who is questioning and exploring their gender identity may take some time to figure out what's true for them. Don't be like, well, make up your mind, you know? They might, for example, use a name or pronoun and then later decide at a later time to change the name or pronoun again. Do your best to be respectful and use the name and pronoun requested. Understand that there is no right or wrong way to transition, and that it's different for every person. So don't make assumptions about how someone is doing it. Some transgender people access medical care like hormones and surgeries as a part of their transition to align their bodies with their gender identity. Some transgender people want their authentic gender identity to be recognized without hormones or surgery. Some transgender people cannot access medical care, hormones, and or surgeries due to a lack of financial resources or access to health care. A transgender person's identity is not dependent on medical procedures or their physicality, except that if someone tells you they are transgender, they are. And please realize that coming out is different for a trans person than it is for lesbian, gay, and bisexual folks. We kind of many times the LGBT folks say, oh, you know, we should all come out and be proud. But it's different for transgender folks. If they want to out themselves, that's fine. But many are very comfortable just living their lives in the gender that is right for them. So don't push that. And then don't ask a transgender about a transgender person's genitals or surgical status or sex life, please. It would be inappropriate to ask a non-transgender or cisgender person about the appearance or status of their genitals. It is equally inappropriate to ask a transgender person these questions. Don't ask a transgender person if he's had the surgery, or if they've had the surgery, or if they are pre-op or post-op. If a transgender person wants to talk to you about such matters, they will bring it up. Similarly, it wouldn't be appropriate to ask a non-transgender person about how they have sex. We wouldn't ask a cis person. So the same courtesy should be extended to a transgender person. And avoid backhanded compliments and what we might consider as helpful tips. While you may intend to be supportive, comments like the following can be hurtful or even be insulting. Here's some of them. I would have never known you were transgender. You look so pretty. You look just like a real woman. She's so gorgeous, I would have never guessed she was transgender. He's so hot, I'd date him even though he's transgender. You're so brave. You'd pass so much better if you wore less or more makeup, had a better wig, etc. Have you ever considered a voice coach? Just no. No. Okay. So that's a lot about don't do this, but I'm like, what else can we do? What else can we do? We want to try to help. You know, most of us are like, we want to help. Well, here's some possibilities. Challenge anti-transgender remarks or jokes in public places, including LGBT spaces. You may hear anti-transgender comments from anti-LGBTQ activists, but you may also hear them from lesbian, gay, bisexual people. Someone may think that because they're gay, it's okay for them to use certain words or tell jokes about transgender people. It's important to challenge anti-transgender remarks or jokes whenever they're said, and no matter who says them. Of course, we should do this across the way. You know, I can remember many years ago when people told all those, what they called Polak jokes. You remember that, you older folks? That was a thing people would do about Polish people, tell Polak jokes. I was a young teacher and I was in the teacher's lounge and they were telling those jokes. And I said to them, you know, I'm sorry, but you realize my grandparents are Polish? And then they were, oh, I'm sorry. And I said, well, please don't do that anymore. And then, of course, my grandparents are Polish, and I told them they weren't, but just intercede, and share it. That's not funny, So what else? Support all gender public restrooms. Some transgender and gender nonconforming people may feel like they match the signs on the restroom door. Encourage schools, businesses, and agencies to have single user, unisex, and all gender restroom options. They might not feel like they do match it, So it's better to have all gender options if we can. And if we don't, make it clear that they can go, they're free to use whichever restroom they want to use. That's George Takei in that t-shirt. I bought one of them. You can pee next to me, right? He had that out back when the North Carolina laws were going around about that. At meetings and at events, set an inclusive tone. We've just got to get used to using different kinds of words. In a group setting, you can identify people by articles of clothing if you want to call them, instead of using gendered language. For example, say the person in the blue shirt instead of the woman in the front, something like that. Get used to using those kinds of things and not use so much gendered language. Similarly, sir and madam are best avoided. And know your limitations as an ally. Don't be afraid to admit when you don't know something. It is better to admit you don't know something than to make assumptions or say something that may be incorrect or hurtful. Seek out the appropriate resources that will help you learn more. A lot of this we don't have to depend, just as we don't have to depend on Black folks and people of color to educate us, because they've already put so much out there. The same thing's true of trans. There's a lot of resources you can look at to help you and to help you get to that point you need to be at. Be willing to provide financial help if possible. It's often hard for trans folks, especially trans women, and even more especially trans women of color, to make it financially. I've known trans women who did resort to sex work, and this is not uncommon and should not be judged so easily by those of us in more privileged positions. I personally am currently helping 2 trans women with some day-to-day expenses just to help them make it to their jobs or counseling, etc. Because at this point in their lives, without some additional help, they may return to addictions and prostitution. Now, it's true that I don't want to enable them, so I'm careful about how and what I give, but I'm glad I can help. Now, my friend Jabrielle, that we heard about in our story, doesn't need that help for her day-to-day expenses. She still does have her bus driving job, but she is hoping to get some help so that she can have her gender confirmation surgery. She is someone that is planning to have the surgery, and she's shared with me that it would be fine for me to share this with you. She's been saving up for it, and she's about halfway there. She's putting it aside. She's got to get up to $32,150. She's given me permission to pass this along to you. And if you feel that you can write a check to help her, you just contact me and I will share with you how you can contribute. Now, thank you for allowing me to focus today on the transgender folks and how we can be better allies. But I want to bring this back to the more general topic as I move toward the end of my message. This slide with the 2 flags provides many ways to be good allies for LGBTQ plus folks. And yes, they do overlap. They overlap with some of the things I've shared in my other ally messages. If you look at them, you can see that. And with what I've shared about being a good trans ally. All of our LGBTQ plus friends need for us to remain strong allies. They need to know that they can call on us and we will be there. Yes, we now have marriage equality, hallelujah. I married 2 guys yesterday on my back porch in Statesboro. But we still have a lot of homophobia and hate in our society. And I think that has arisen more in the last few years because of the division and hate promoted by some of our leaders. And I really look at that last one that says, accept your limitations. Because as you try to be an ally for LGBTQ plus people, let me tell you, I've been doing this for decades and decades. You are going to mess up. I did that yesterday with someone, something I said to a gay friend. I used a phrase that was inappropriate and was questioned on it by him and realized it. So I apologized and I will do better. Now, here's the main thing we need to do, though. We need to do this. Here is the main thing we need to do. We need to vote. Vote, folks. I do not endorse candidates or parties from this pulpit, but I will encourage you to vote your UU values and to encourage others who have those values to vote as well. That can make a huge difference with all of these things. This is serious, folks. This is serious. My friend, Marcus Toole, gave me permission to share a quote that he shared this past week with the city council, and Al Hackle quoted him in the paper with this. Now, Marcus was very emotional and passionate about the input that had been given to the city from some religious leaders in our community and states, or religious leaders who said they were basing their remarks about removing the transgender non-discrimination part related to LGBTQ people. And they were saying they were basing that on their religious convictions. And this is what Marcus said to the city council about that. He said, people have used religious conviction as an excuse to marginalize us, to fire us, to kill us, he said. We don't go after them. They always come after us. And they have done so for thousands of years. They have burned us at the stake. They have thrown us off buildings. They have hung us. They have stoned us. And they have excluded us from every area of society. So I urge you, please protect us. Please protect us. I think I can speak for all of you in our congregations and tell Marcus and others that we will be there to speak out, speak up, to care for you, to love you, and to welcome you to our places of worship with open arms as we realize that we know ourselves we need to continue to grow and learn, and we need to become better allies. But we welcome you as we do that. Indeed, we UUs stand, as the song says, gay and straight, and all of the other letters of our diversity together as we side with love. May it be so. So, my birthday was Friday. I was 70 years old, October 9th. I share my birthday with John Lennon. John Lennon didn't make it. He died when he's 40, but he would have been 80 this year if he had made it to this birthday. And so as we share our joys and concerns with one another in the chat box, we're going to listen to Robert Cottle's playing of Imagine by John Lennon. Please go in your chat box and share your joys and concerns. We're going to now sing Spirit of Life together. We'll stay muted. It is our choral invocation to a prayer that I will share at the end of this. Let's sing. That connects us all here today. We are so glad that even in these very difficult times, when we cannot be together in person, that we can connect through this technology and know that we are there to be supportive of one another. We pray that we will learn and grow together to be better allies for all folks in these very difficult times. And today we're especially focusing on LGBTQ and trans folks, but for all folks. We have many folks with various problems and concerns, and especially health issues. We pray for folks to be serious about the upcoming elections, to seek guidance from their values, and to vote. And we pray so much that when times are difficult, that we will know that we have one another and we can connect with one another and be there for each other. For we have love. Love is love, and love permeates us all. May it be so. Amen. Please join with me now as we extinguish our virtual chalice. If you have one at home, you can extinguish it.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Here's our slide we put up to remind you all that we still, even though we're not meeting, we still need your support. We prefer that you send us checks, or you can use your bank's bill pay option. Or you can go to one of the congregation's websites, either uuacg.org or uustatesboro.org. And I'm sure the folks that are in the Outer Banks have some way to do this as well, probably, and use PayPal. But don't forget us, because there are folks that need us too. And if you do have a special need, please let me know about that. And we can find some folks that maybe can help you out, or we may be able to help you out with our Helping Hands funds that we have in our congregation for some of your needs. Also, though, today, I want to remind you about our ongoing stewardship. So please, tomorrow, commit to tomorrow. If you have not already gotten in your stewardship forms and your canvas forms, we need them now, today, please. So if you don't have them, go to your website, your church's website, and you can get them there and get those on into us. Because what we're going to do now, that we're going to be contacting the people that we haven't heard from them. So you can save us those phone calls and emails and everything if you would just go ahead and get those in and commit to tomorrow, because we do have hope for tomorrow. We're going to sing our benediction together now before we get ready to get in our breakout groups. Please join us. We're going to get in breakout groups. Here are some of the people that have volunteered to facilitate those. So hopefully we're going to randomly do these. And for the folks in Outer Banks, we do this at the end of the service. We hope you'll stay with us because this is where we can get together and get to know each other, but also maybe think a little bit more about the topic, what we shared today. So after John sings coffee, coffee, coffee for our coffee break in time for you to go get you a cup of coffee, I will put you into those breakout groups. You'll get an invitation. Just click on that and you will be in a group of folks where you can share together. I will probably be staying in the main room doing some technology things. And if you want to stop by and say hello on your way out, please do that as well. So here we go. Here's our coffee, coffee, coffee song.
Coffee, 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 praise the strength of coffee. Early in the morn we rise with thoughts of only thee. Served fresh or reheated, dark by thee defeated, brewed black by perk or drip or instantly.
Thank you, John. All righty, I'm going to do 3 breakout rooms, and here we go. We've got at least one, let's see, let me look at this one. I may need to move somebody to number 1.
Jane, I'm not seeing invitations.
I haven't done it yet, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna open them and then I'm probably gonna move somebody.
There we go. You got it.
All right.
You're still sharing your screen, by the way.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna, yeah. I gotta move somebody. All right. Hey, Jabrielle. Unmute yourself so I can talk to you.
Hello.
Hey, so glad you're here with us.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
You're our star today.
that was you. We were trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
It's me. Yes, thank y'all for having me here.
Oh, we were glad to.
It was a gift. Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to have you join us, and I'm glad we've reconnected now. So that's a good thing. Did you get an invitation to a breakout room?
This is my first time on Zoom, so I'm trying to.
Let me see if I can move you to one. Let's see, or invite you to one. Let me see. Let me see. Well, breakout rooms. Okay, you're supposed to be in that. All right, let me see, not join. Okay, let me see if I can get you in there. I'll get you in something. See if you get an invitation. Did you get anything?
Okay, I just got something.
Okay, click on that.
Let's see.